Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Vrajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Vrajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Vrajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we're Friday. So we are reading from Srila Prabhupada Nectar book. We had a little technical difficulties here, so it's a little bit late. But let's go forward. So if you're looking in the book, it would be on page 334, and it's that's where we are. 334 would be number 50. Chastisements, Mayapur. Starting on a walk from the temple in Mayapur, Prabhupada pointed to some plants and asked what they were. "They are only weeds," replied one of the disciple managers. "They have no value." "Everything has value," said Prabhupada, "but you don't know it. You don't know how to utilize it, but everything has value. Another time, walking by the kitchen near the ladies' bathroom, Prabhupada noticed a bad odor. He turned to the sannyasi disciples walking beside him. Why is no one complaining? Prabhupada objected. This is such a bad smell. Why are none of you complaining? Prabhupada explained that they should immediately complain when there was some sign of the mode of ignorance. The devotees were supposed to be developing at least the mode of sattva gun, so that when they come in contact with the lower mode, the tamagun, they should make a complaint. Commenting on Srila Prabhupada's mood in Mayapur, Bhavananda Goswami said, if a water tap on the land was dripping only once every 3 hours, then Srila Prabhupada would come at exactly the time it dripped, see it, and say, just see, Krishna's energy is being wasted. Prabhupada was especially vigilant within the Mayapur building. When he found that the brahmacharis did not keep their rooms clean enough, he said, brahmachari means dirty. He's sarcastic. He said the building was meant for guests, and if the devotees were not keeping it clean enough, then they should move out. Anakadundubi Das was in charge of cleaning Prabhupada's room. He knew that Prabhupada would not tolerate a single grain of dust and would call him back to clean it. One day after Anakadundubi tried his best to keep things perfectly clean, Prabhupada called him back. Srila Prabhupada, something has displeased you? You don't know how to put these sheets straight? Asked Prabhupada. Prabhupada's darshan room had mattresses covered with white sheets on the floor, but Prabhupada did not like it if even a single sheet had improper creases in it. You have not put these sheets on properly. Did you change them? Yes, Srila Prabhupada, they're fresh. And put them on right, Srila Prabhupada said, and he had several devotees work out the creases and tuck the sheets in properly. Srila Prabhupada was also strict with the Bengalis in Mayapur. One day on the road in front of the temple, a man walked up to Prabhupada and said that he wanted to give his son to the Gurukula. Prabhupada said yes, he should bring him. I also want to join, said the man. Prabhupada said yes, but the man would have to come every day for a month. At night he could sleep in his own place. Prabhupada said the temple would give him prasadam and he could work, but at night he would have to go back to his own place. I live in Vamana Pukur, and it is far away. Prabhupada said it was not so far. The man could walk or take a rickshaw. I don't have so much money, said the man. Srila Prabhupada looked at the man sternly and said, no conditions. Okay. So next section is Prabhupada Nectar 5. This would have been the next volume in terms of the little red books that were originally published. Prabhupada told me that if I simply study the character of Lord Chaitanya in Chaitanya Charitamrita, even apart from his being the supreme personality of Godhead, just by studying him as a Vaishnava, I will become perfect. So in the same way, I feel that if people study Prabhupada apart from what his inner identity might be, which we don't even know, if they study him just like a Vaishnava, or as a great Acharya, or as a great personality, they will benefit. This is written by Giriraj Swami. So number 1, little drops of nectar. Little drops of nectar. Srila Prabhupada was always expert in the way he dealt with people. Once, his Indian disciple, Haridas, walked into Srila Prabhupada's room, put his beads on Prabhupada's desk, and told Prabhupada he was leaving. Prabhupada asked him what the difficulty was. Haridas explained that although they were struggling so hard to raise money and make life members, no one wanted to join. It was just too difficult to continue. Prabhupada said, be patient, be patient. He said that when the new building opened up, people would line up to become life members. Then Haridas said that he could not work with the foreign disciples. Prabhupada explained that when you milk a cow, you should expect to get kicked sometimes. He told Haridas that the foreigners were doing so much service and that their kicks must be tolerated because we want the milk. In this way, Haridas was pacified and he renewed his determination and enthusiasm. When Prabhupada first arrived in San Francisco in 1967, Mukunda Das had a beard. The beard was very full, but it was not very long, and Mukunda kept it trimmed. Shortly after his arrival, Prabhupada said, "You look just like a sage." This left Mukunda feeling satisfied, and he did not think it necessary to shave his beard or his hair. Later, however, as more and more disciples shaved their heads, Mukunda felt unsure of himself. One day he approached Srila Prabhupada. "Prabhupada," he said, "do you like this?" And he gestured to his beard. Prabhupada stroked his own clean face and said, "I like this." Then he smiled. Mukunda understood that the beard was not in order, and he shaved it off the next day. Prabhupada visited Philadelphia in 1975. At that time, the temple was located in Germantown section of the city. The devotees all crowded together on the front porch to greet Prabhupada. They stood closely together in 2 rows. When Prabhupada arrived, the devotees began throwing flowers, and Prabhupada walked slowly toward the crowd, carrying a cane. Suddenly, a little 6-year-old girl named Sarina bolted loose from the devotees and ran up to Srila Prabhupada. "Srila Prabhupada," she called, "I have a question. I have a question." She said she had trouble making garlands. She said when she put a flower on the garland, she then got mixed up and didn't know which flower to put on next. Prabhupada looked down at her and then took a very beautiful opulent garland from around his neck and placed it on the little girl. "You look at this garland and you will learn," he said. Once in India, a mailman brought a letter addressed to Prabhupada, which required a signature upon delivery. Tejas Das told the mailman that he would sign on Prabhupada's behalf, but the mailman said that he could not allow this. Tejas told the mailman that he was Prabhupada's secretary and that he could sign, but the mailman was adamant. And Tejas said that he would take the letter to Prabhupada and return with the signed carbon copy. Again, the mailman refused, saying that he would not know if Prabhupada had actually signed it. Tejas then told the man that Prabhupada was a great saint and that he was very busy. And again, he asked the mailman to give him the letter. The mailman refused. Finally, Tejas went to Prabhupada and explained the situation. Prabhupada agreed to see the man, and Tejas then showed him into Prabhupada's room. The man was there for 10 minutes, and when he came out, he was smiling broadly. "I have seen Swamiji," he said. He just wanted to see Srila Prabhupada. Two. In the summer of 1971, Indradyumna Das accompanied Srila Prabhupada on his flight to London, where he was to attend the Rath Yatra festival. On the flight, a film was shown, an old silent film of Charlie Chaplin. When the film began, Indradyumna Das began reading the Bhagavad Gita, but he noticed that Srila Prabhupada, who was sitting 2 seats away, was watching the film and chuckling. Indradyumna felt a little confused, since he knew devotees were not supposed to watch movies. But seeing Prabhupada's appreciation of the film, he stopped reading and laughed along with Prabhupada and his servant at Charlie Chaplin's humor. When the film was over, Indradyumna met Prajuna Das at the back of the plane and asked why Srila Prabhupada was laughing during the film. Prajuna said he would go and ask Prabhupada. He soon returned, smiling, and said, "Prabhupada said that Krishna is the original source of everything, and since Charlie Chaplin's humor was original, he could appreciate Krishna there." Indradyumna returned to his seat, appreciating how Srila Prabhupada saw Krishna everywhere. As the plane landed in London, Indradyumna was looking forward to seeing the devotees and hearing Prabhupada's arrival address at the Berry Place Temple. But the airline had misplaced Prabhupada's suitcase, and Indradyumna was asked to wait behind in case it showed up. Disappointed, Indradyumna was left alone as the devotees performed kirtan while escorting Prabhupada to his car. Indradyumna waited for 2 hours before the suitcase was finally located. He then took a taxi to the temple, but to his great dismay, he found the ceremonies over, and the devotees finishing up a feast in honor of Prabhupada's arrival. Indradyumna asked the devotees where Srila Prabhupada's room was, and was told it was 4 flights up the stairs. When reaching the 4th floor, Indradyumna knocked on Prabhupada's door and then entered the room, dragging the big suitcase behind him. Suddenly, he noticed Srila Prabhupada standing there watching him. Embarrassed for having walked in on Prabhupada, Indradyumna fell to the floor, offering his humble obeisances. Suddenly, he felt a firm slap on his back, and he heard Srila Prabhupada saying something to him. When he arose, Srila Prabhupada had gone back into the adjoining quarters. Still feeling Prabhupada's strong slap, he turned to Nanda Kumar, who stood there with wide open eyes and a big smile on his face. Jagannath, Balaram, Lady Subhadra, Lady Shrigade, Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. Indradyumna then asked what Prabhupada had said. Prabhupada said, Nanda Kumar said. Indradyumna then asked what Prabhupada had said. Prabhupada said, Nanda Kumar replied, that in your material world everything is very difficult, but when you go back to Godhead, everything will be very easy. Yes, that is true. In the material world, everything is difficult, but in the spiritual world, everything is very easy. 3. Prabhupada tells short stories. We have become first class imitator, Prabhupada told the devotees during a Bhagavatam class in Vrindavan in 1976. Then he told a story. It was 1914, World War I was in progress, and the high court judges in Calcutta were on their tiffin hour. Mr. Mukherjee, an English judge, said to Ashutosh Mukherjee, "Now the Germans are coming. What are you going to do?" "We shall offer our respects to them and invite them to do as they will," replied Mr. Mukherjee. The answer startled the Englishman. "Why do you say that? You have simply taught us how to be slaves." Prabhupada then explained how before Gandhi, the people of India thought that to have an advanced civilization, they had to imitate the English fashion. But we should not make a fashion. Prabhupada said, "Guru is not a fashion. Who requires guru? Tasmad gurun prapajate jigasu shreya uttama." He requires a guru. Jigyasa, atato brahma jigyasa, that is human life. One who is interested in inquiring about the Brahman requires a guru. One who has no business for understanding Brahman, simply to make a fashion that I have a guru, that is useless. It has no value. One must be inquisitive to understand this spiritual science. He requires a guru. Jigasu means inquisitive. I don't really understand the point. Part about the guru, yes, but how it's related to that incident. Anyway, going on. Srila Prabhupada was on a morning walk in Tehran when he heard a lamb crying. Why is the lamb crying? They do not give the lamb something to eat? Prabhupada asked. A devotee then made a guess. No, I always hear this sound somewhere. They keep the lambs for killing. Prabhupada then explained that such killing meant that the people were living like animals, and he told a story. A lamb was once drinking water from the side of a lake. Across the water was a tiger. The tiger challenged the lamb. "Why are you muddying the lake?" The lamb replied that he was not muddying the lake, but the tiger quarreled with the lamb and then killed it. Prabhupada then said that the people in animal consciousness look for faults in others and create quarrels in order to kill. Then he quoted an English proverb, give the dog a bad name and hang it. In this way, Prabhupada criticized material consciousness. Prabhupada once told a story to illustrate the Kshatriya spirit. Jasavanta Singh was commanding general under Emperor Aurangzeb. In a battle, Jasavanta Singh met defeat, so he returned home to his palace, but the palace gate was closed. He sent a message to his queen informing her that he had returned home and asking why she had closed the gate. Upon hearing the message, the queen replied, "Who has returned home? Jasavanta Singh? No, it cannot be he. Jasavanta Singh would not return home after being defeated. He would either conquer or give up his life. The person at the door must be a pretender." So saying, she refused to open the door. Number 4. On Tulasi worship. Please, please be merciful to us and send us specific personal instructions so that we may adequately serve the feet of Srimati Tulasi Devi. We beg to remain your humble servants eternally, Vidya Devi, and servants to Srimati Tulasi Devi, Los Angeles. Questions? Well, here are the questions. Question 1. Is each Tulasi a separate Jiva soul or an expansion of one pure devotee? Question number 2. Where does her spirit soul go when she leaves this body? 3. May we place jewelry in her soil or just moonstones? 4. When Tulasi is being cared for by householders in their home, must 2 artiks still be offered? 5. When Tulasi is being cared for by householders in their homes, may they use her leaves and manjaris on their home offerings, or should they take them to the temple? 6. When Tulasi is being offered artik by the householders, must she have a ghee lamp? 7. Is it offensive to turn the baby Tulasis back into the soil when they appear? 8. There are even questions concerning Tulasi's artiks. We've always offered her incense, ghee lamp, and flour. Is that correct? 9. In the manual, it states that Tulasi should not be pruned. Does this mean trimming the branches which no longer have leaves or life fluids flowing through them? 10. We were told you once spoke the 4 regular principles of Tulasi care, which will keep her from getting sick. Keep her moist, keep her clean, keep her morning sunlight at least, and give her 2 artiks a day. Is this bona fide? 11. May Tulasi be made into tea after she has been offered. 12. May devotees carve Tulasi wood for deity paraphernalia. 13. When Tulasi leaves her body and the body is too soft for carving beads, how should she be used? Should a small fire sacrifice be performed? 14. We have a letter from you requesting that no sprays be used on Tulasi Devi. That we use a spray of buttermilk and whole wheat flour dissolved in water, which coats her leaves to keep the spider mites from causing Tulasi to leave her body. 15. Does Tulasi sleep? Should she be left undisturbed after nightfall? 16. Is it permissible to use scissors to cut her manjaris, and when transplanting to use knives to loosen her from the pot? 17. Is it offensive? Is it an offense to step on or across her shadow, or the shadow of any pure devotee? And 18. For 2 years we have been waiting permission to use the following 2 prayers plus translations and a translation of the already existing prayer. Please tell us if these are bona fide. And one of the prayers is, Hare Krishna. Om Govinda Balavam Devim Bhakta Chaitanya Karinim Snapayami Jagat Datrim Hari Bhakti Pradayanam. Translation. Now I am bathing the Mother of the Universe, the bestower of Krishna Bhakti, the enlivener of the living force of the devotees and the dear one of Govinda. And there's another prayer they're asking about. Chaino Baba Dugam Cha Yad Hridi Taba Vartate Tat Shamasva Jagan Matta Vrinda Devi Namostute. O Mother of the Universe, please forgive whatever misery exists in your heart caused by the cutting of your leaves. O Vrinda Devi, let me offer my obeisances unto you. And then one other prayer. Om Tulas Shamrita Janvasi Siddhatvam Keshava Priya Keshavartam Chinomi Tvam Bharata Baba Shobhane. O Tulasi, you were born from nectar and always dear to Lord Krishna, Lord Keshava. Now, for the service of Krishna, I am picking your leaves, O one who is shining brilliantly. Okay, so those were the questions they asked. And there were answers here. Prabhupada replied, My dear Vidyadasi, please accept my blessings. I am in due receipt of your letter dated September 27th, 1976. If it is not possible for Tulasi to survive the winters when planted in the grounds, then a suitable house should be provided for her. Even in the Canadian temples, which are in much colder climate, they're keeping Tulasi nicely. Why should there be so much difficulty in Los Angeles, which has such a nice climate? Just do everything very carefully. Tulasi flourishes where there is love and devotion. In answer to your questions, Tulasi is one devotee who appears when there is devotion to Krishna. It's more useful to read it with the questions. Okay. The question was, is each Tulasi a separate jiva soul or an expansion of one pure devotee? Answer, Tulasi is one devotee who appears wherever there is devotion to Krishna. Second question, where does her spirit soul go when she leaves her body? Tulasi's body is spiritual. So, her body is spiritual.
Yes.
3, may we replace jewelry in her soil or just moonstones? Yes, jewelry is all right. 4, when Tulasi is being cared for by householders in their homes, there must 2 artiks be offered, if possible. When Tulasi is being cared for by householders in their homes, may they use her leaves and manjaris on their home offerings, or should they take them to the temple? That's 5. Tulasi leaves should be offered to the deity. He didn't say specifically take to the temple. He says offer to the deity. So you have deity in your home. 6. When Tulasi is being offered artik by the householders, must she have a ghee lamp? 6. If possible. Is it offensive to turn baby Tulasis back into the soil when they appear? Yes. There are even questions concerning Tulasi's artiks. We've always offered her incense, ghee lamp, and a flower. Is this correct? Yes. In the manual is stated that Tulasi should not be pruned. Does that mean trimming the branches which no longer have leaves or life fluids flowing through them? You may cut the dead branches, but what is the necessity? You can do it, but it's not necessary.
So if the dead branches on the philosophy needed?
He says you can cut them, but he says what is the necessity? I mean, maybe there is. We were told that you once spoke of the four regulative principles of Tulasi care, which will keep her from getting sick. There's A, keep her moist. B, keep her clean. C, give her morning sunlight, at least. And D, give her 2 arctics a day. Is this bona fide? Answer, I never said that. 11, may Tulasi be made into tea after she has been offered? No. 12, may devotees carve Tulasi wood for deity paraphernalia? 12. Yes. 13, when Tulasi leaves her body and the body is too soft for carving beads, how should she be used? Should a small fire sacrifice be performed? Use the wood for beads as far as possible. The balance may be placed within the earth. Okay, it actually doesn't say to use it in the fire sacrifice, which we sometimes do. So it was very auspicious, but that's not what Shobha was mentioning here. 14. We have a letter from you requesting that no sprays be used on Tulasi Devi. May we use a spray of buttermilk and whole wheat flour dissolved in water, which coats her leaves to keep spider mites from causing Tulasi to leave her body. I said no chemical sprays. Does Tulasi sleep? Should she be left undisturbed after nightfall? Answer, undisturbed means what? 16. Is it permissible to use scissors to cut her manjaris, and when transplanting, to use knives to loosen her from the pot? 6. Use common sense, and if you have none, then consult with others. Is it an offense to step on or across her shadow or the shadow of any pure devotee? No. It's not an offense. It is not an offense. Is it an offense to step on or across her shadow or the shadow of any pure devotee? No. 18. For 2 years we have been waiting permission to use the following 2 prayers plus translations and a translation of the already existing prayer. Please tell us if these are bona fide. These are all the verses I wrote. Don't try to introduce something new. The most important thing is the love and devotion. Hoping this meets you in good health, your ever well-wisher, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Oh, no. I'll read one more here. Number 5. Whenever Prabhupada visited the New York temple, the devotees there would perform a play. Once the devotees performed the kidnapping of Rukmini, and Prabhupada enjoyed the performance. He laughed, and when an envious prince played by Nayana Abhiram Das saw Rukmini and said he was going to faint when he laughed when an envious prince played by Nayana Abhiram Das saw Rukmini and said he was going to faint. Srila Prabhupada laughed when an envious prince, played by Nayana Abhiram Das, saw Rukmini and said he was going to faint. Okay. When Balaram cut off Rukmini's Rukmi's beard, Prabhupada said, "Oh, now he is more than dead." When the play was over, Prabhupada said that seeing the drama was better than reading the book. On another occasion, Prabhupada asked the New York devotees to stage a performance of the Ramayana. The devotees had no time to memorize lines, so they arranged to have a narrator read the lines from off stage. The actors stood in a line and performed mudras while the devotee played the guitar. After the performance, Prabhupada called for Nayana Abhiram and complimented him and the other actors for their good performance. He then suggested some ways the play could be improved. He said that in India, there are people read the lines off stage according to the different roles of the actor that the actors play. Prabhupada said he liked that style and asked the devotees to practice it more. Nayana Abhiram asked if it was all right to include a guitar music rather than sitar. Prabhupada said a guitar played expertly is better than a sitar played poorly. Srila Prabhupada's, next paragraph. Srila Prabhupada's airport arrivals were always ecstatic events, with the devotees performing kirtan and dancing unless prevented from doing so by the airport authorities. When Prabhupada arrived in New York, Nayana Abhiram Das would always be ready at the airport with some fruit, which he would offer to Prabhupada and then distribute to the devotees. When Prabhupada arrived in New York in April 1969, Prabhupada himself danced along with the devotees, and the ecstatic kirtan attracted a large crowd of spectators. After his visit to the New York temple, Prabhupada was to fly to Buffalo. On the day of his departure, the devotees accompanied Prabhupada to the airport. But this time, the airport authorities stopped their kirtan. The devotees then began chanting japa on their beads. Again, Nayana Abhiram offered Prabhupada fruit, and he began to distribute the remnants to the non-devotees in the airport. Prabhupada then surprised Nayana Abhiram by calling him back. He told his disciple to distribute the prasadam to the devotees first. Charity begins at home, he said. Okay, one more. Just one more. Little drops of nectar. Srila Prabhupada's humility. Once in India, a young Indian sannyasi, disciple of another guru, came to visit Prabhupada. After hearing Prabhupada, the young sannyasi said he had one request. Prabhupada asked him what it was. He humbly requested Prabhupada to kindly finish translating all 12 cantos. Prabhupada answered, You just give me your blessing so that I can finish the translating. Although the sannyasi could have been Prabhupada's son, out of his humility, Prabhupada begged him for his blessings. Next paragraph. Once in Hyderabad, the devotees hired a cook. When Prabhupada found out about it, he was very angry. He said that they had hired a common sweeper who had disguised himself as a brahmana so that he could make some money, and that the food had been cooked in such bad consciences that it had contaminated the innocent farmers who had eaten it. And Prabhupada looked at his disciples and said, "Why don't you ask me to cook?" He said he would have cooked for them, and all the devotees felt ashamed. When Giriraj Swami and Brahmananda were with Prabhupada in India, Prabhupada told them how he then had to travel to America to flatter some of the leading disciples there in order to get money from them for building his projects in India. Brahmananda and Giriraj Swami were surprised to realize how Prabhupada had to humble himself to engage his disciples in devotional service. Next paragraph. Once, sometime after being chastised by Srila Prabhupada, Shatadanya Das went to the roof and found Prabhupada by himself. Sachidanya immediately paid his dandavats, and he told Prabhupada that he felt Prabhupada had blessed him when he chastised him earlier that day. Prabhupada smiled. Shatadanya said that his experience of being chastised was just like the story Prabhupada told of how he was chastised by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Again, Prabhupada smiled. Then Shatadanya said, "But I feel great anxiety." When with great humility, Prabhupada said, "I didn't mean anything by that. Please don't feel that way. I didn't mean to upset you." Sachidana then felt very bad, and Prabhupada said it was proper for the disciple to feel anxiety in relating to his spiritual master. Last paragraph. On a summer evening in Vrindavan in 1977, Tamal Krishna Goswami told Prabhupada how much he appreciated Prabhupada's books. Prabhupada then began to cry. "I am only a child," he said, "but I have to try to please my Guru Maharaj." He then said he did not write the books, but that they were written by Krishna and his Guru Maharaj. Later, he reprimanded Upendra for leaving some cabinet doors open. Then he told Upendra that although he chastised him very severely, he was actually praying to Krishna, "I can't deliver them." When he told Upendra that although he chastised him very severely, he was actually praying to Krishna, quote, "I cannot deliver them, you do." I can't pray, Then he told Upendra that although he chastised him very severely, he was actually praying to Krishna. Quote, "I cannot deliver them, you do." Okay, so Srila Prabhupada was praying to Krishna, "I cannot deliver." Yeah. Srila Prabhupada also, I don't know which deities they were, but he said how he had prayed he installed deities somewhere early on in the movement, and he knew that the devotees were not ready, but he did. So he's praying to Krishna, you take care of yourself. I've called you here. They're not fit to take care of you, so please you take care of yourself. Like that. There was one message here, or a comment from Joshua. "Nice to hear about Srila Prabhupada speaking about the importance of keeping things clean and how we should complain about Thomas Goon qualities entering the temple. Yes, and not just complain. It's easy. Complaining is easy, but complain and then do something practical to fix the problem. Because if we just complain, then it's like, why didn't somebody fix this problem? Why didn't, you know? But if we are, but if we see the fault, I mean, because Srila Prabhupada was saying, why does nobody's even noticed this mode of ignorance here, Thomas Kuhn, mode of ignorance. Nobody's even noticed this thing and this thing, and if they notice, they should be complaining. But the end is not just to complain. First thing is complaining means you recognize it, and then of course we do what we can do to fix the problem. But yeah, nice comment. I have to go on with other services, so we'll end here for today. And tomorrow is what? Srimad Bhagavatam tomorrow. Yes. So we'll continue on with verse. I'll post it. I think it's 2021. Probably about 22 for the third chapter, I think. So, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And everyone who's watching here, please try to share it. I see that class from yesterday, we only had one devotee here at the temple. I saw later on there were at least 20 who had seen it because they're being shared. So please help like that.